to heart. After you have traveled, especially at a time like this, when the northern hemisphere is engulfed in winter, it is so cold. You know, when I see young girls dressed in high boots here in Uganda, feeling great in the heat, when I know why those boots were made, I just feel sorry for them. But that always reminds me of a saying, a prayer by the Jews. When the Jews are praying, they normally thank God. The prayer goes like this: thank you, God, for creating me as a person, not a plant or an animal, and of all things creating me as a Jew. I honestly say the same prayer, only I thank God for creating me as a Ugandan. And having said that, I'm really happy and lucky to be at the same function with Mrs. Jen from C, because I've always only seen her on TV. Now I've seen her in person. So I have got a word for her, Jennifer. It is lovely to be loved and wanted, except when you are wanted by the police. So, there is another saying which says, this is about Africans, that if you want to hide something from an African, put it in a book. But the way Winnie's book is written, with all those flowers, I don't think it is going to be easy to hide anything. So, I want to thank Winnie. I want to thank Winnie for being so innovative and for being so courageous. I want to congratulate you for doing what many of us don't normally get around to doing. If we were all to admit, many of us, just like one previous speaker has said, have tried to write or even decided that you are going to read a certain book and finish it. Then you make a really spirited start. You read for a week. Every day you read for 4 hours and you think you are doing very well. Then before you know it, you have even forgotten where the book is before you have finished reading it. So, I want to thank you for staying the course. All of you, please allow me to quote the most famous motto of this republic, which is never, ever give up. So thank you for never giving up. Then, since Winnie is a bishop's daughter, and maybe let me tell you one little thing about the Bishop Rukidi. Once upon a time when I was a minister, I was seated in my office, but this was after I had had a sort of rough meeting with one of my officers. I told this officer, you either pull up your socks or I'm going to fire you. And in the meantime they knew I didn't joke about such things. So after this officer left my office, he went where he knew best, to a witch doctor. So this is a true story. I'm sure Naomi has forgotten. Naomi, excuse me, I should have told her, I should have warned him. So this guy, I think after seeing the witch doctor, he was like, I called him to my office again. So he brings his whatever it was and drops it in my, I remember it was dark blue, drops it in my spotlessly clean office. Immediately he left. Now Meruhindi walks in. Of course, she's now Maguzi. She walks in and says, oh, I think he dropped something. So she picks up this, whatever it was, and holds it like this. And I give her a whisper basket, put it in here. There was nothing in the whisper basket. So I called my assistant, please go and throw it away. And my assistant looks at it, and now it's like, it's just rubbish. So, when I was saying, thank you for, I'm grateful for being born Ugandan, you are lucky you are born by a bishop, because you don't have to go into such nonsense. Therefore, I also know, because of your background and whatever, that good Lord has been using you to do all these things. Which once again reminds me of a priest. You know, priests, there are two vicars on the table I'm seated, and I know they do this. In the evenings, the vicars take a walk around the village. And normally, whenever they find you, they'll say hello, they'll ask how you are. So this priest was taking a walk in the village, and he stands on the edge of the garden and talks to this gardener and says, oh my God, look at what a good job God has done there. Then the gardener said, yeah, you should have seen it when he was doing it alone. So Winnie, thank you for allowing the good Lord to use your hands to do what you have done. I want to end by thanking all of you for coming and by suggesting that whatever you do, please take a book, even if you borrow it. The lawyers are not terribly harsh. I'm sure you can pay piecemeal, but please encourage the reading culture. Most Ugandans have even forgotten to speak English. And of course, when you talk about speaking English, everybody is like, Tetuli Bazungu. Your national language is English, and you are not going to go anywhere if your English is terrible. Quite often, we miss out on opportunities just because we cannot express ourselves. So, you were told, I'm in the business of promoting reading. I promote rural libraries. So far, we have set up 8. And we are setting up reading clubs. This will be followed by discussion groups. Because I want people, after they have the facts, I want them to debate. And when they debate, I want them to be thirsty for reading. So I want to thank you for writing a book which is Ugandan, because quite often it is so difficult to find anything Ugandan. So I want to thank everybody who has supported you. And I want to end by thanking you, OG, that it is good to have such a head girl. And I hope if there are other head girls and head boys here, you will also maybe write books. I thank you. Good night.